everyone. Can you just put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me, please? Put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me, please. Hope you're all doing well. All right, you can hear me. Fantastic. By the way, if you hear me munching away, I'm so sorry because I literally have not eaten all afternoon. It has been such a crazy, like so many things have been happening. Oh my God, guys. Where to even start? Where to start? But yeah, it's happened, y'all. It has happened. He has been stripped of his titles. And I mean, here's the thing about this, like it is very much a symbolic thing, right? Because they took away Harry's titles and patronages when he hadn't done anything wrong. And it from that time on, it just looked so bad that that Andrew still had his titles. So it's about damn time. But let's be honest, like it is really just a symbolic thing. Like he still needs to actually face the courts and face justice. But this is just like one step forward. I've been listening to a conversation on Twitter in one of the spaces, and yes, Dale, the mighty have fallen. And but by the way, for those of you who are just tuning in, so this was actually announced about 20 minutes ago. So literally, this is like breaking news. Mind you, when I started to set up this live stream, at that time, there was only the letter from the military personnel. So when I set up the live stream, it was this letter from the armed forces. This letter, by the way, I'm sorry that you can't see the whole thing, but this is actually addressed directly to the Queen. Now, this letter was it was published through a Republican group. It's that same Republican group that's been in the UK for a while. I think the Sussex Squad has always been kind of mindful of that group, because despite the fact that Harry and Meghan were step back, they're no longer off the taxpayers' purse strings, the Republican group has always still been very shady towards Harry and Meghan. But this letter, I'm just letting you know that that's who this letter was published through. So it wasn't like necessarily like an independent group of armed forces who published this letter, but this was directed to the Queen, and I think it was like 157 or something personnel that actually signed this letter. So that was earlier on today, and literally just in the last in the last 15-20 minutes, we had a statement directly from Buckingham Palace. This is Royal Communications. A statement regarding the Duke of York. With the Queen's approval and agreement, the Duke of York's military affiliations and royal patronages have been returned to the Queen. The Duke of York will continue not to undertake any public duties and is defending this case as a private citizen. Well, he's not a private citizen, he is a royal. Okay, he is a royal and he needs to face consequences as someone who has benefited from the taxpayer's purse, and the British public deserve an explanation as to how he was able to live such a lavish lifestyle. I mean, to be honest, he backed down. It was quite a while ago that he backed down from royal duties anyway. So why weren't his titles taken then? He hasn't been undertaking any official duties, and yet he still is living off the taxpayer's dime and having his court case paid for him by the Queen. Let's just go to the comments. Yes, NM, the unroyal family has been terribly shaken. People out there are unhappy, and people like this one who think they are accountable to no one. Exactly. It's time that they are held accountable. And sorry, just to backtrack, because I think I went on a bit of a tangent there. I was listening to a Spaces on Twitter, and people were like, do you know what? We are so happy that Betty has lived to see this, because she needs to be held accountable too. This is her son. And, it's like 1 minute the Queen is just someone who is a figurehead and she's being badly advised and she doesn't have any control. And, the next she's somehow able to make all these decisions and she was the one who took away Harry's touch. So it's like, what is it? Is she just a figurehead or does she not have control? Because it's like when they want to present her as, or when they wanted to present her as being in control over Harry and Meghan, all of a sudden she's in control. And now that it's Andrew acting up, now it's like, oh, no, she's just like a poor mother. And like, no, she's the queen and she needs to hold her son accountable. So as you can imagine, it's all really been popping off on Twitter today, on social media, and people are rightfully just angry. They're mad. I don't know if you're not gonna be able to see this, but or you can just barely see it because of, hang on a second, if I don't know if I can get this picture to display, but basically this was an article that came out yesterday as an attempt to distract from this whole thing. And it's like, who cares about a random, Queen's 15th cousin or something getting engaged? Like, we care about these victims and getting justice, because let's be honest, it's not just Andrew. Like, there is so many other people who are involved in this who need to be brought to justice. And yeah, Raquel, she is an enabler. She's absolutely an enabler. Michelle saying the thing is they are forced to do it. They had no choice, but Harry is an innocent man who hasn't committed any crime, was stripped so easily with no regards for his service and all the work he has done. Exactly. And Harry is the only member of the royal family who has served on the front line in combat. And to see him treated like this, it's just, it's just really out of order. Sorry, let me just go through your comments. It's a shame they put Harry and this disgraced person at the same level. Exactly. All Harry did was marry for love and decide that he was stepping back from a cult. C-Mac, is that Karma Ismail? The allegations have been around for years, but Karma has had enough of them. Exactly. Karma can be slow, but she always comes knocking. Melissa, God is allowing all of this to come out and for the Crown to be embarrassed because of the way H&M were treated. Harry served his country and was treated like a criminal, and he served on the front lines. Exactly. And a couple of days ago, it was actually announced that the Jubilee is going ahead. And I said this many podcasts ago, that Jubilee is not going to be a party. It's not going to be a party. It's not going to be a parade. It's going to end up becoming a protest. Because if they think that just removing Andrew's titles, that's enough, and people are going to be satisfied, they've got another thing coming. Like, this opens such a can of worms now. And this isn't going to end here. Like, people have had enough. They just want to see the whole, they want to see the whole establishment brought to justice. Yes, Miranda, what is hidden in the darkness will always come to light. What is happening with Andrew's patronages? About 900 before. I guess no one was working on them. Well, there was a report some time ago about patronages that somebody did, and they basically established that with the exception of obviously Harry and Meghan, because us at Squad fans are so generous, having a royal patron doesn't necessarily mean that you will make more money. It doesn't even necessarily mean that you will get visits. You can just say that so and so is a royal patron, but the actual work to to promote the charities and get more money to the charities isn't done. Case in point, 2 of Kate's charities shut down during the pandemic. And there's another article I saw recently. I'm going to do a separate video on this, but it was a breakdown of all of the engagements that the royals had done in a year. And I remember seeing that Anne had done like over 300 engagements, and it's like over 300 engagements and what impact? 300 engagements and what impact? Harry and Meghan have barely done any engagement over the last 2 years of the pandemic, and most of them were actually virtual and so much impact. I mean, there was that live chat that Meghan did with the lady who was running the progressive news outlet, the 19th, and so many people signed up and subscribed to the 19th, donated to the 19th. That was a virtual event, so you can just see the difference in impact. Harry and Meghan don't have to do a lot to create impact because they've done the work um, previously their entire lives. So you can trust that whoever it is that they're working with is legitimate. You want to give your money there, you want to give your time there. But the other members of the royal family, and this is something that Tina and Michelle said some time ago, it's like they think that their presence is enough, and it's not. In this day and age, it's not enough. I don't feel sorry for the Queen because she had no feeling for Miss Doria, what they put her only child through. Exactly. And this is actually another video that I'm going to do, like the complete disrespect of Queen Doria. And she really is a queen for her patience, for oh my gosh, her gracious silence. I mean, they wanted her only child dead, and she has just held it together in a way a strong mother like her, only a strong mother like her could. Apparently, the photo shoot for Kate cost the taxpayer £2 million. I've seen an article about that circulating on Twitter, but I think that article was by a Sussex Squad fan. So I'm not dismissing that article, but there was no referencing as to where that money came from. So I'm just waiting. I might do a video on that if it is true and I find it out to be true. But I just want more kind of like verified sources regarding that. But yes, I did see that, Elaine Parker. Thank you. Prince Andrew loses his title. What happens to his daughter's titles and ex-wife's title? Well, I mean, Fergie is divorced and she still uses his title. Um, so I don't know. I don't know. Anna is saying, tell him it was me. Exactly. That is what she's saying right now. I hope she's having a party up there. Mm, Patricia, finally, it shouldn't have taken this long. Harry didn't do anything but serve his country and marry the woman he loves. He had his military honours stripped faster than you could blink. Exactly. It's disgraceful. It's just disgraceful. And there's so another thing that's really annoying me is there's all this brouhaha about how and should be called because Meghan would be honest. I mean, they need to just keep Meghan out of this. Meghan was not there when all of this happened, so what would she say? Anything that Meghan says would be something that she heard. It would not be a first-hand account anyway. And I'm actually pretty sure that Harry has probably kept a lot of things from her in order to protect her, because what she doesn't know can't be used against her. So they need to just leave Meghan alone. Leave her alone. Don't get her involved in this mess. Trying to use her name to distract. Oh, y'all, what a day. What a day, what a day. And I like I mentioned in my other video, I don't know what happens going forward. Is Andrew going to get on that plane? I doubt it. There's actually a comment by another squaddy left on my last video, which I'm going to just try and dig up if I can find it, because they made a very, very good point. Oh, this was from, okay, so this is from Josie A. I'm just going to read this out. Option 1, go to court and fight it. Option 2, negotiate a settlement, which I don't think that Virginia Goff and her lawyers want a settlement. Otherwise, they probably would have taken one already. Option 3, ignore it. They can't do that because the more they ignore it, the louder people yell. and also get a summary judgment stating guilty or innocent. I think at this point, the court of public opinion thinks that he's guilty. And then also, so this commentator says, US courts cannot force Andrew to pay. Also, he will not be arrested, nor could he be extradited for this. So I don't know what they're basing that on, but they seem to have written quite a detailed comment. So I'm gonna assume there is some truth to that. And he will continue to have some kind of diplomatic clout. So it's going to be very difficult for him. I'm sorry for them to really, I think, get the final justice that they want with this, because he is still going to be so protected. Yes, Christine, Meghan has Doria's strength and compassion. And so I was listening to a Twitter space, and someone mentioned that I'm just gonna look for it. Give me a sec. Let's look at a funny picture while I'm digging up the evidence that Prince William has apparently come out and said that it was his idea to take Prince Andrew's title. So you can see if this is true. I'm trying to dig up the tweet because I just heard someone say it in a room. I don't know how true this is, but it definitely sounds like something Prince William would do, try to slide his way in and make it look like, you know, he's the hero in all of this. Okay, I can't find that tweet, but I'm just on Twitter right now, and so Dr. Shola, who I'm sure many of us follow, she's just tweeted, "Dear royal family, I want to see the same energy you use against Meghan Markle and Princess Diana in dealing with stripping off and Prince Andrew. He's the one that's actually brought you into disrepute. Anything less is inconsistent. We have receipts to show the same energy." Amen, Dr. Shola. Dr. Shola, shout out to Dr. Shola, because she's one of the few British voices who has really stuck her neck out there despite everything that's been levied against her. And she really put Piers Morgan in his place. So much respect to Dr. Shola. And just read some of your comments. Yeah, Kenneth, I wonder how the royal family are enjoying the spotlight that they're craving. Be careful what you wish for, right? Harry and Meghan are just enjoying eggs from Archie's Chicken Inn. They're unbothered today. Yes, when the British justice system is an absolute laugh. It's well known that and there are people who've worked in the police force that have come out and said this, that, you know, if there is a case and some prominent people or powerful people are known to be involved in that case, especially if it has to do with abuse, that they have to basically bundle the case. So the justice system is indeed an absolute joke. Now Camilla Tominey has a lot of headlines to report on. Oh, I don't think she'll be reporting on this. Remember, she's a wait, I think I have a picture. Don't I have one of my pictures of her with Andrew, with her bestie? Let me just dig it up if I've got it. Give me a sec. Where is it now? Camilla Tominey and Andrew are besties, y'all. So she's not going to be reporting on this. There you go. There. So yeah, we're not going to see any reports about Randy Andy from Community. Valerie, it's a civil case, so they cannot force him to appear in court. However, it will not look good to the jury. Exactly. Honestly, whether he goes or not, whether he's charged or not, the damage is already done. And I feel like there's a lot of people who they have been waiting a lifetime, a literal lifetime for something like this. And now is the time. It's like if you are one of these hardline Republicans, now is your time. They've been waiting for this more than anyone. That photo with his arm around Virginia's waist, still exactly. This one with his sausage fingers. If he doesn't cooperate, they will rule against him by default. This is a federal court, so they have more teeth than a state court. They can seize US assets. Oh, thank you for that comment. Thank you for letting us know. Right, Queen, Virginia don't care about the money right now. She needs to drag him through the courts. Exactly. Do you know what? Virginia, I'm sure there's so many people that want to hear Virginia's story. She will be inundated with all kinds of deals, and I hope she gets the biggest deals and all the money. So she doesn't even have to try and dig for money from Andrew, unless she wants to, of course. I hope Kate and Will doesn't come to the USA. Well, they've got the Earth shot, haven't they? But I don't know how they're going to be received because correct me if I'm wrong, but the last time they came to the U, that was a long time ago. I don't even like. This is the other thing that gets me. Like, what has stopped Kate and William from doing more tours or doing more overseas trips, especially to the USA? It's like now, after almost a decade, now they're fishing for attention from the USA. Like, when's the last time? I remember the last time in pictures in my head of that time they came to the US. And so unless they've been there since, please correct me if I'm wrong, but they haven't done anything to help with relations since then or build any type of fan base since then, despite all of the great favor they have. And this is something that I keep going back to. When William and Kate got married, they had so much good favor, right? Everybody bought into the fairy tale of, Diana's firstborn finally found his love, and it would appear that it was by natural selection. Obviously, we know that there was a lot more shady things that happened on the Middleton side, but people bought the fairy tale and they had so much going for them, and there's so much they could have done, and they just decided to be lazy and put it all down the drain. Do you think Harry and Meghan will be given back their patronages since they did nothing wrong? Um, to be honest with you, I hope they don't take them back, especially if they're UK-based charities. They've got so many US-based charities that they're working with. They've got the Archwell Foundation now. They don't have to worry about whatever patronages there are in the UK anyway. William and Kate know a lot about Andrew. Maybe they can call them, and they should. They should call them. Lily Bell Grant. The royal family saw Harry stepping back as worse than being involved with pedophiles and abusing young girls. I bet she regret that decision to strip Harry and Meghan and her treatment of them exactly. But I don't think it's just her. I think it's the men in grey suits as well, the courtiers. And I wouldn't be surprised if there were people higher up in the British establishment and government who were consulted about this as well. Because remember, it's a revolving door between government, the palace, and the press. Sorry, I'm just looking for your comments. Mary Cat, we do not feel sorry for Doolittle no matter how much he's propped up. Exactly. And they really did try with those ghostly 40th birthday pictures, but it did not work. Because what do you have to show for 40 years of your life other than pretty pictures and putting down women from other royal families? William better keep his mouth shut. Andy doesn't have anything left to lose and might talk about his gardening practices. Exactly. Never confront someone who has nothing to lose. They'll pull you down with them. Mm. Renounce or strip their paintings. Yeah, I've heard that some outlets are saying he renounced. Um, I mean, I guess it makes the queen look. I don't know. Maybe they think it doesn't make the queen look as bad if he renounced. I don't know. Mm. Meghan's ancestors, honey. All the ancestors are coming for them. All of the ancestors are coming all at the same time. Um, I do not believe that Egg was the one who took the decision. No, I don't believe he's the one that took the decision either. But I think it wouldn't surprise me if he tried to make it look like he was, because it makes him look like the king, the future king in control who can make good decisions. Let me just actually just check Sky News on my phone if they are at all reporting on this. Keep your comments coming through. I will be reading them. Um, so it's breaking. Yeah, it is breaking news on Sky. So they are reporting it. Mm. Mm. Crazy Trekker, nothing passes the Queen. She was very much aware of what was going on with Andrew. It's her fault, vanity and narcissism. She let the case get to this point, thinking her position will influence the case. Exactly. And people are not letting it go. We're not letting it go this time, because I feel that people understand that if we let this go, we won't be able to hold the royals accountable for everything else that they've done. So we're definitely not going to let this go. um, Gonna go through all it. Let's put a nice picture up. There we go. Yeah, Megan's smiling. Love that picture. Oh, actually, do you know what picture I love even more? This one, because this right here was like a what do they call it when something kind of echoes something that's gonna happen in the future? Is it called a premonition? This right here just like spoke to the direction that Harry was going to go in life. Freedom, away from the gruesome twosome, away from this, away from misery. And it's just like every single day that passes, everything that happens, I'm just more and more grateful that Harry and Meghan stepped away, because yes, they are thriving, not just surviving. The royal family, the unroyal mafia, because they're not a family, they don't even like each other. It's like living. It's like living in a cult. They're just a cult. Mm, the men in grey suits in the media took the royal family down with their help, and that's why they're falling one by one. Exactly. Everything that they did to Harry and Meghan, it's now coming back to them. It's now coming back to them. Mm. Sister and Baldy is one of those marionette dolls whose strings are being pulled by the rodent. Exactly. I keep on wondering like what it's gonna take for them to talk about his rose gardening antics, because Super injunctions are quite powerful. You can have your property and assets seized. So, but something's got to give eventually. Something's got to give, and they will eventually talk. Just gonna go through your comments. Mm. Monarchy, Ruth. The monarchy needs to die with Liz. It does. It does. I mean, nobody in that institution actually thrives. They're just like leeches that are leeching off a taxpayer, that are leeching off a fantasy fairy tale life that is not real. There's nothing about um the image of royalty and what they put forward that is real. It's all one big fantasy. It's one big circus that's turned into a big drama, and it needs to go. And yes, that noise that you can hear is my plate because I am eating. I'm hungry, people. Forgive you, good sis. It's been a busy day. Keep the comments coming through. Nelly, I'm ready to buy some wine today. Yes, I need wine. I need wine and more pizza. Marie, do you think the Queen does anything? I think that I think at this point, to be honest with you, her age, I don't think she has a lot of control. But I think that there was a time when she could have done something and she didn't. So yes, Therese, chickens are coming home to roost. They are roosting indeed. Chickens are coming home to roost, but Archie's chickens are laying golden eggs. I think she only strips because of her Jubilee year. If it weren't for that, she would still protect him. Do you think? Do you think it's just because of the Jubilee year? I feel like they would have done it anyway. But I mean, I see your point. But with the amount of noise that people are making, to be honest, it is literally the least that they can do is strip him of his titles. Because if anything, now that his titles are gone, it's going to be a lot easier for him to just fade into the background. So, yeah. Grendel, the royal family is just creepy and crazy. It is. It is. And I honestly, I feel so sorry for the Cambridge children because they are going to grow up at a point where this institution, not only is their parents' marriage breaking down, the whole institution is breaking down. Can you imagine like what is happening to those children right now? Like I just hope there's someone that's going to be able to, shelter them in a way that Harry and William were not, because they are really going to like mentally those children are really going to suffer. I hope that maybe Diana's side of the family can step up a little bit more in a way that they didn't before, and shelter those children, and give them some respite, because between their parents' marriage, the breakdown of this institution, and the desperation of the Middleton family, those poor kids, they're going to be so messed up. Um, Genuinely feel sorry for those children because they didn't ask for this. They didn't ask to be born into this craziness, and into this institution that just abuses and imprisons people. It's a gilded cage. Black Knight, it's not a royal family, it's a crime family. Indeed. And I hope all the BS is spread like mayonnaise on a slice of bread. You put mayonnaise on your bread? Psychopath. Uh, uh, mm, because of Diana. That's right. Diana being avenged. Mm. All right, everyone. I think I'm gonna wrap this up. I don't want it to be too long. So I'm just gonna read through your comments and then wrap it up. Andrew is getting rid of assets already. Article yesterday claimed the Queen has taken possession of the chalet. Yeah. The thing is, what is he going to do? If they take his assets, they take at the end of the day, like as much as I dislike this family, they've created a culture where they cannot they cannot survive without the institution, and it would be not that they can't or not that they're above getting like ordinary jobs, but then if they were to do that, you've now got the issue of still having to give them security. They still have to get around. So this is why I agree with the commentator that it needs to end with Liz, and the culture that they've created needs to end with Elizabeth. And the young, like the Cambridge kids, they should have to go to school. They should have to make their own way and their own money because they're gonna get inheritance anyway. They could probably live off their inheritance, and a lot of that money is likely being invested into funds, into stocks, into bonds, into precious metals, and all the other things that the rich invest in to increase their portfolios. So really and truly, from the Cambridge children and any other children in the royal family who are not currently of working age, the expectation should now be that they will have to work. Thank you, Black Queen, for your super sticker. Highly appreciated. Roni, I used to be a royalist, believing that with this huge platform, they could be a massive force for good. Can you imagine if the royal family took a stance on Black Lives Matter or the vaccine? But now they are just useless. Well, they did actually take a stance on the vaccine. Um, although a lot of people, yeah, I'm not going to get into that, but there was a lot of back and forth as to whether or not they should have taken a stance on the vaccine. But to be fair, they did. And on Black Lives Matter, well, I mean, what do you expect? They definitely were never going to take a stance on that, or they did in their very kind of an underhanded way. So, for example, there was I think wasn't didn't Kate do like a photography book or something where like one of the pictures was from Black Lives Matter, but it's that like um saying it quietly and never saying it loudly that I think annoys a lot of people because of their platform. But thank you for that comment. It's a very good point. Mm, and I hope our reporters drag. Anna, you're on fire today, girl. What did you drink? Anna, you had a shot of Cafe XO Patron, didn't you? That's the one that sets you alight. But yeah, I'm sure you've heard me say this so many times on previous podcasts. It's going to take for an American journalist or an international journalist to bring these people down, and I feel like the timing and the positioning is now right. Definitely pressure from the military, exactly because the military guards are going to be a huge part of the Jubilee. So I actually have to go back and watch. I'm not going to watch it in full, but just like bits and pieces of the last Jubilee because the only thing I remember was the big concert at the end. I can't remember the lead up to it and all the other stuff that happens, but it's a pretty big operation. Um, there's actually been a lot of criticism because, as you can imagine, for the last 2 years in the UK, we've had lockdowns, we've had mandates, and just this whole idea that all of a sudden Mr. C, I'm going to call him so the censors don't kick me off, Mr. C is just suddenly going to disappear by the time we get around to the Jubilee, and we're going to be able to have these, huge crowds and so people, some people anyway, are quite mad just at the fact that we're still going to have the Jubilee, and yet our lives stopped for the last 2 years. Um, the Queen had to be nudged by the armed forces to do the right thing, just like Diana. She had to be forced. That firm, exactly, and that's what they are. They're a firm. They're not family. They are firm. A mafia and a firm. The aides and men and women in grey suits are running the palaces. They need to be. The thing is, it's like, and this is another thing, right? The men in grey suits. Who are they? I want to know who these people are. There's that picture that Baron shows sometimes. He calls them the what's it? The Mormon Tabernacle Choir picture, and it's like all the Kensington Palace staff. And that there's people behind them that are pulling the strings. And I feel like some of these people have been in positions for a very long time. They're very old, and some of those positions are hereditary. So they've passed them on maybe to their children or family members and friends. And so they're still very much stuck in that old way of doing things. And it's why no matter what they do, they always do it wrong because they're stuck in that old mindset. They still think that it's 1997. We're in the era of Diana. We're not. They act as if the internet doesn't exist and that they can just go on and everything will go away. What is Sarah going to do? I really wish she could get help away from him. Well, she tried, didn't she? She tried to come to the US. I mean, even Oprah tried to help her out. She did interviews. She tried to monetize being a royal. I think she had biscuits or something. But these people, especially somebody like Sarah, she was probably nurtured from a young age to just go and find a rich husband. And when she found the son of the queen, she probably thought that she hit the jackpot. But she got the what she probably would have done a lot better for herself marrying, say, Edward, because Andrew has just been a complete flop. I bet the royal family is in some weird way hoping that H&M will make an announcement to divert attention. How ironic. Exactly. They wanted them to go away and now they want them to appear just to distract. I hope that Harry and Meghan give nothing for like the whole of January. Absolutely nothing. Just so that no attention goes away from all of this. Oh, they don't have any stories to distract, so I'm guessing we'll be seeing pictures of the Cambridge kids soon. Probably. Probably. Let me change the picture. We'll have Usher sipping his drink. I love this picture. This is me every single day creating this podcast. This is exactly how I look when I'm editing, guys. Just in case you're wondering, the black t-shirt and everything. Alrighty, alrighty, alrighty. I think I'm going to wrap it up because we're coming to almost an hour. But thank you so much. By the way, something happened on Twitter earlier. Some of you may be aware of. Oh, hi, Thrive with Meghan and Harry. How are you? Some of you may be aware of the private investigator Gavin Burrows, who's helping um, Harry and Meghan's team their lawyers with the case regarding Murdoch and Rebecca Brooks and Piss Moron. And I made a comment regarding a tweet that he put out, and he blocked me, and several other squaddies as well. So I'm gonna make a video about this, kind of explaining in detail what happened because I don't know if it was a misunderstanding. I don't know if he thought that we were attacking him. We were just concerned about some of the things that he was tweeting, and he seemed to take it really personally and start blocking us. So yeah, I'm gonna make just a quick video explaining what happened. Um, we really were not attacking him. We were just concerned about some of the things that he was saying and putting out there that we just, obviously as fans, we know how Harry and Meghan's team act, and when we see someone who's associated with them kind of acting off code, obviously we're going to be concerned. and he seemed to take it as an attack for some reason. So yeah. Um Thrive Harry and Meghan. I'm working on an episode for later, guys. It's breaking news day. Make sure you go and subscribe to Thrive with Harry and Meghan. Dolls, guys and dolls, go and subscribe. Go and subscribe to all of the Squaddies channels. Okay, I'm gonna play the music out. And yeah, that episode with what happened with Gavin Burrows I'll probably have it out today. I'm gonna try and edit it as quickly as possible. But yeah, that's all for today. Thank you everyone for coming. Thank you if you donated, and I'm gonna play us out with the music later.